Welcome back to my channel. All right, just had to turn the fan off so that you can hear me. So, today we are going to talk about Mercury in the first house. Mercury in the first house. What does it mean to have Mercury in the first house? Mercury is the sign of communication. It's the sign that is associated with Gemini, and it deals with the way we communicate. All right, guys, so sorry I had to grab some water, but I'm back. Anyways, so we're talking about Mercury in the first house. Mercury in the first house is dealing with the ascendant sign. So when we see Mercury in the first house, we see somebody who is literally talkative. Like they talk. Like they're very mercurial, and this makes somebody very mercurial, makes somebody want to almost just want to talk all the time, talking. A person who is very mercurial is someone who's going to be doing things very quickly, very fast. And what else? Depending on what sign is in the first house, it will definitely come out where this person could be in the media. They could be very focused on the news, being updated on things all the time. A person with a first house Mercury is going to be very talkative. Communication is definitely going to be very important to them. And you see these people as very Gemini-like or very Virgo-like. Okay, so they can have characteristics, especially if your rising is a Virgo or a Gemini. Having a Virgo or a Gemini in the first house is very good with Mercury there, because Mercury shares the same planet with Virgo and Gemini. So these two components are what you will see if a person has Mercury in their first house. Very communicative, wanting to know and be updated on the latest things, anything to do with the news. Social media can be very important to them. And when you see Mercury in the first house, you see somebody who appears to be very quick, quick in everything they do. They can be quick in their communication, quick in their movements, quick in their action. And sometimes, a person can wonder, how are they so quick? How are they able to do these things so quickly with Mercury here in the first house? Now, originally, Aries rules the first house. So Aries is a fire sign. So Mercury does do well here because it's sharing the energy with a fire sign. So Mercury is it could be really it is an air sign because it's ruled by Gemini, but because it's ruled by Virgo as well, it can share some earth elements too. But for me, I would say it's more associated with Gemini, because Gemini is more interested in communication. Gemini is all about communication. Gemini rules the hands as well too, right? So my son's trying to stand up these days, so he's really just, I'm trying to hold on to him so he doesn't fall. But yeah, so I mean, having Mercury in the first house is amazing. It's good for people who are interested in communications, interested in being writers, interested in being on the news as anchors. If you wanted to be a news anchor, you do really well in that as well too. And these people are going to be attracting things naturally to themselves. People will want to communicate with them. People will want to, talk to them. Somebody who has a Mercury in the first house is going to be a communicator. They're going to want to communicate. Communication is extremely important to them, depending on what sign it's in. Now, if you have Mercury in the first house touching other planets, that's going to change the behavior in the way in which you express yourself. Okay. Yeah, in the way you express yourself. So keep in mind, Mercury in the first house is dealing with someone who communicates, needs communication, is constantly working on their communication. What else? They're very fast paced, moving, very fast paced, appearing to be a fast paced person. Okay. They may not be a fast paced person, but when you first meet these people, they're very like going, 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 and they're very quick in the way in which they do things. Okay. Also, the first house deals with the self. It deals with you as a person and who you are. So, as a person who Chai is literally trying to stand up these days. Say hi. My name's Chai. Hi, my name's Chai. So going back to what I was saying about Mercury in the first house, Mercury in the first house is dealing with the self. Okay, so people who have Mercury in the first house may communicate a lot to themselves. They may talk to themselves a lot too, right? Just to get clarification on certain things. So, keep in mind this person is very communicative, and they also share elements with Virgo and Gemini. Virgo and Gemini are, Virgo's an earth sign, Gemini is an air sign. And, Gemini is the masculine version of Mercury, and Virgo is the feminine version, okay? Because Mercury is feminine and Gemini is masculine. So, any type of yin or yang behavior can be seen by this person. This person's dual, okay? A person with Mercury in their first house is dual. And also, if you have Mercury in the first house, that almost makes you mercurial. It also makes you like a Gemini or a Virgo. So you're definitely going to take on Gemini and Virgo tendencies with that Mercury being there. Another thing that's really important too is if you have Mercury in the first house, you have to watch for Mercury transits, because Mercury retrograde will definitely affect you if you have Mercury in the first house, and it will affect you in a way where people will see that you're going through changes during Mercury retrogrades. So people who are actually consciously aware of reading charts and knowing these deep things about astrology will see that somebody who has Mercury in the first house needs to watch for the different phases of Mercury retrograde and understand that those phases will definitely affect you in a major way. And it's important to keep an eye on those, because the things that happen in your life will revolve around these Mercury retrogrades in a way where you're going to be learning lessons from these things. Okay, you're going to be learning lessons and growing as a person, because this Mercury retrograde that's happening is just a part of who you are, because you have the first Mercury in the first house. Okay. So that's my little mini rant on Mercury in the first house. I'm sorry that my baby is just wanting to stand and he is really distracting, but hopefully you don't mind that with his cute little face, right, Chai Chai? All right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there and hit up the subscribe button if you want to know more about astrology. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. Bye.